This is quite a nice reproduction of an Eames lounger, and one of my favourite places to sit and think, or more often just sit. But it's got one thing at least wrong with it, and that's the feet. They are too small. The real thing has feet that are about an inch and a bit taller than that. And that means it's a little too low to match the ottoman here. So I want to raise those feet up. Now the feet come out easily enough. They're just these little plastic things here. I thought when I first looked at them they were metal and possibly welded or screwed in or something. But no, they're just a press fit bit of plastic. So I'll be making a wooden disc foot that's an inch or two tall, and I'll be looking for some kind of pillar to help me fit it back again. One possible starting point for my disc-shaped feet would be dowels. But whilst it's reasonably easy to find dowels of these sorts of diameters at the timber yard, lumber merchant, or indeed to make your own dowels, finding large dowels is more difficult unless you remember this ready source of large dowels. This rolling pin is about £2 from IKEA, and this rolling pin is about £1.50 from my local supermarket. I don't like the colour of either of those, unfortunately. It's not going to match the cherrywood veneer, allegedly, of my chair, so I'm off to look for something darker and turn it into a disc. So I'll cut off a bunch of square blanks first, and I'll set a stop block to the same distance as the width of my piece. Now I can trim off 4 squares. Well, although the ottoman might have a 4-point base, the chair of course has a 5-point base, so I had to find an extra piece of wood and chop it to the same size square. Now I'll find the centres and drill a pivot hole before I chop the corners off. Rookie mistake number 37A. After more than a year of procrastinating, I have actually finally started the build of my bandsaw, but certainly not finished yet. And I need to chop the corners off these blanks before sanding them off into discs. So I thought I'd try the jigsaw, upside down. The pieces are too small to use the jigsaw in the normal way from above, but without my weight bearing down from above in the normal orientation, pressing down as hard as I can on this, on the plate, it still judders about too much. So I'm going to have to do it on the table saw, and I'm going to need a jig to hold such small pieces safely. You could consider a hole saw if you had a good one, but everyone I've ever tried has ended up burning their way through, so no. I've enlarged the pivot hole to 10mm, and I found some 10mm aluminium or aluminum rod that just fits nicely in there. But it's a little undersized as far as the hole in the foot is concerned. I'll pop a washer on to protect the wood from the metal of the foot, but what am I going to do to shim out the rod? Well, you may have used this stuff. It's heat shrink and very handy. Normally it's used in electronics for covering up bare conductors that maybe you've just soldered up. It comes in various sizes and can be used all over the place. Here, for example, are some steel tools. I don't know how they were cut from the excellent steel that they are, but they're jolly sharp to handle. So there's one place you can use heat shrink. You can pop it on there like that, shrink it down and give yourself a comfortable grip. So this looks like the size I need, and I'll just cut off a length. Now, I'm not sure how hot my heat gun gets, but I don't want to be holding that. It's very robust stuff. You can use a cigarette lighter on it if you haven't got a heat gun to hand, and that should shim this out nicely and stop it dropping out of the foot of the chair if I move the chair.